Hello and welcome to the Pre-Made Rampage Week 1. My name is Lindor. I'm here with my esteemed co-caster, Sin, and we are here to bring you a best of 3 series against this or between the Sneaky Ticklers and 4D Chess. Sin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, thank you. Looking forward to getting into it. And I'm actually already into pick and ban, where you can see the pro draft running. Uh, Already a couple bans on the board.
Yeah, jumping straight into it here. We do have the Anivia ban coming
Bans on
down.
the
The mid
board.
laner here for 4D Chess does love to get that pick, so that one makes a lot of sense. Also, some jungle targeting here coming out. Not going to be seeing some Olaf and not going to be seeing Vigo in this one. I'm pretty sure Vigo is actually disabled, so that's a bit curious there.
It's just a free ban. They don't need it. They're throwing it away. It doesn't matter.
It's the BM Vigo ban. I can respect
Exactly.
it.
But with the Jin ban coming out here, yeah, we've been seeing this a lot more in the last couple of weeks in the LCS and LEC. Just the idea that you're seeing this more hands-off playstyle coming through from the bot laners. You're seeing more Senna, and you're seeing like the Kai'Sa relying purely on diving into the backline non-committally, where you've got the rest of your team does the work and then you dive in after.
Yeah, I really like the Jin ban. As you say, it is one of the strongest AD carries, and we're actually going to see a first pick Senna here. So that's going to be a strong pick. It can be kind of a flex pick between both of the bot laners, and we'll see if it is going to be the fasting Senna or what exactly they're going to go for. 40 Chess, they're going to look to answer with a prio pick of their own, looking for the Seraphine here. What do you think about that pick there?
Well, really, when you're against it could be mid, of course, but when you're against Senna, what you're looking at is shoving the Senna in as much as possible to deny her the ability to get the free trades and try and get stacking up. So you're looking to shove her in as early as possible, keep her under her tower, keep her from trading, and if she's fasting or farming, you limit that scaling quite a lot. So with the Seraphine and the Tristana, I could see this just being a bot lane duo immediately and
Mhm.
hard shoving that.
Yeah, Tristana will definitely be able to help out with that. Of course, her passive already auto shoves the lane. She has some really good wave clear with her E active as well. So if that is the strategy that they're going for to try and keep this Senna down in the early game, that is going to work pretty well for them. We'll see what they're going to reply with. It looks like a Wukong pick.
Okay, so generally when we've seen Senna and Wukong on the same team, it's Wukong's support that
Hmm.
is doing the farming. So I'm interested to see if that is going to be the case here. Wukong, very good on the engage, plays kind of like a Pantheon, but has more of that team fight scaling, whereas Pantheon focuses a lot more on those more pick-based setups. So interesting start already. And the blind pick Mordekaiser top lane says that he's pretty confident in himself here. This is generally both top laners do like these bruisers. So
Yep.
kind of a call out pick here. Do you have anything that can answer? And that would be a hell of an
Oh,
answer. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
slamming down the gauntlet. They see the Mordekaiser and they insta lock the Tryndamere. So they had that one ready to go. I don't 100% know how that matchup does go, but I'm assuming that they like the Tryndamere there. So looking to slam it down in the 1v1.
It really depends on execution. If Tryndamere gets a good setup where he's got his rage going, he just runs down Mordekaiser, and there's not really much Mordekaiser can do. He doesn't have that much in terms of escapes. And if you see like the Navarre's quick blade build from Tryndamere, you can just stick to him endlessly down the side lane. But Mordekaiser can win out early if he does start to get a wave shove, does start to get some advantageous trades. It just relies on a little bit of scaling from the Tryndamere, and jungle interaction is key.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on that one as we do go. You mentioned the junglers, and we don't have any jungle picks here yet, but we actually don't have any jungle bans coming down either. It looks like some mid lane focus with the Galio, the Fizz, the Brand, and even the Lulu taken off here in the second phase.
And not really thinking at all that the Seraphine is going mid lane, but still banning these more supportive mid laners,
Hmm.
does generally speak to the fact that you would be trying to force the Seraphine into the mid lane by banning out any alternatives, maybe looking for an alternate support. You can think of things like the Nautilus, um, more sort of tanky based supports, but coming into the jungle, this power farming meta that has been rising, where you just trying to hit level 3 as soon as possible, churn down these camps and try and impact generally top lane as early as possible. The
Hmm.
Kane fits perfectly. He can start on the Raptors. That gives him such an advantage over so many other junglers, like the Lilia as well does have. So be interested to see what that does turn into. And the Nunu Ooh, okay. Another power farming jungler that does like to impact the early game with those snowball gangs.
Yeah, so Nunu Oriana is the reply there. So that's going to be some team fighting power for the sneaky ticklers. And for D Chess, they're going to lock in the set here as their last pick. And I think that's going to be a support set, which does mean that they're going to be flexing that Seraphine into the mid lane.
You would assume so, but I want to look at the comps overall here and discuss the fact that Sneaky Ticklers have a lot more easy options from their draft. You think about the Oriana execution, Nunu, Wukong. There's a lot of easier engage, a lot of easier follow-up, point and clicks, this kind of easy execution in team fights, whereas OBJ, or rather 4D Chess, have a lot more solo execution that needs to be pulled off. Like Kane needs to be looking for some high execution solo kills. Tryndamere needs to be out executing in the side lane, and Set needs to be pulling off a lot of work to get through Oriana, Nunu, Senna to pull off an engage.
Yeah, definitely an easier to execute comp for the sneaky ticklers. They have quite a few options, as you're kind of alluding to there, for engaging with that Oriana ball. They can put it on the Nunu and snowball that into the fight. They also have the Wukong, which actually can be a really scary combo there. He can, especially when he goes invisible with his W, he can jump right on into the team fight. They can start layering those ultimates and getting that wombo combo in. And as you mentioned for 4D Chess, it is a little bit harder to execute, but they do have the tools there too, right? They do have the Seraphine, they do have the set, so there is definitely potential for them there as well for these team fights.
So what I'm looking at in that regard is the 4-1 composition they have set up. So they have the Seraphine that's difficult to engage on, they have the set that soaks up a lot of pressure, and Tristana who's got that mobility to escape. So you're playing with Tryndamere in a side lane, that 3-man unit sitting mid, and the 4-1 works where Kane then darts between the two lanes, and if anybody tries to make a move on Tryndamere, you can pull off that dive, you can get the kill. If the other way around, he can back up any kind of engage that is followed onto in the mid lane. So it creates a safe environment for Tryndamere to split push, knowing that the rest of his team is going to be safe. So that would be how 4D Chess look to win, by avoiding team fights altogether.
Yep. Mind, they are going to be playing 4D Chess on the Rift. I really like that call out there from Yusin. The Kane can really enable that split push, especially because of his E. He can walk through those walls, and as you mentioned, as I said, dart in and out of those lanes. It's very easy for him to get to one lane or the other in just a matter of seconds. So we'll see if they can execute on that correctly, because on the other side, it's going to be about the engage. It's going to be about them finding a 4v5 team fight when they don't have to sacrifice too much on the side lane in return.
So what I'm looking at early from 4D Chess, however, is how they set up the lanes for push. If they can get top lane into an advantageous situation, that shove is going to be crucial to like Kane to take over. So Seraphine might be able to get a shove on Oriana if she's able to execute correctly. The bot lane, heavy execution based, but can get a shove as well. So if all three of these lanes execute correctly, Kane is free to invade constantly, and that free invading cuts Nunu's access to all of the lanes because he's just trying to scrap together some kind of farm, and it sets them up to create this environment for Tryndamere to roam free, never be touched by the Nunu, and take over the Rift.
Yeah, it'll definitely set up the Tryndamere well, and that sort of style will also set up the Kane really well. If he has 3 winning lanes and he's allowed to roam into the enemy jungle, he's allowed to fight this Nunu whenever he wants, that really enables him to get a lot of those red orbs early on, which will then lend itself to some of these late game plays that they're going to be playing with that extra knock-up, the extra healing, the Gore Drinker, and things like that.
Yeah, you would be looking at more of a red Kane here, yeah. Like, even if you do get the blue transformation option, red Kane is so much more important to that 4-1, having the extra denial to the engage, having the extra engage threat should you need it. The red Kane just provides that much more survivability, whereas the blue Kane is used almost purely for assassinations. And when you're up against 2 very tanky champions, and the Wukong who's likely farming as well, there's a lot of tankiness to try and shred through, and you can't do that with blue Kane effectively. So we'll see what he does choose in game. It does depend a lot on how early you can get your transformation, because if you do get it early before any tank stats come through, there is always the argument that you can snowball the game to hell on blue.
Yeah, definitely the snowball prowess there with the blue Kane. is always a strong option, but we'll have to see if he does have the tools necessary to get things done in the early game and start that snowball. I like that call out that you made for this Wukong, who is going to be getting the farm, or we assume he's going to be getting the farm down there in the bot lane, because he is going to be able to have a bit more gold. He's going to have some more tanky stats because of that, and he is going to be harder to kill, especially with that assassin play from the Kayn. And we also have the Senna, we have the Orianna. These kind of supportive carry picks do also help prevent some of that extra dive and extra one-hit potential.
It's really difficult to run them down as well because of it. You think about the kind of picks that have been coming through in the jungle recently, like the Udyr, that just want to run at you. Orianna and Senna has been what have been denying them. They're trying to run through all these slows, these routes, and both Kayn and Tryndamere are going to have a lot of difficulty doing that. That's why they need the Seraphine movement speed boost. They need the entire team to be shoving forward and running at the enemy team if they're going for that 5v5. And to do that, they need to be in the advantageous situation from the early game. If you're getting to the mid game and you're sitting behind with this comp that 4D chess has, it falls apart because you can't contest objectives easily. You're just running into your death more often than not, and the denial to engage of simply you're running in as Tryndamere and get hit by a Wukong ult, something like that, is just so huge to stop you from having any impact on the game.
Yeah, those engage tools are really hard, especially considering the kiting potential for the enemy team. And with that being considered, I think that this set pick is actually going to be really important to pulling off some of these plays, because if they want to look for an engage and they have bongo tap on a flank, that set can just wombo combo them with the phase breaker, pull everyone in, and then they can get the Seraphine ult, and that could be really, really gross.
The thing is, finding that flank, if you're pulling off flanks like that, generally you're in a position of advantage already, where you've got like a wave shoved, you're looking for a flank from the jungle. If you're sitting behind, it's really difficult unless you've got that warding pressure already to find a flank. So this is where we're talking about the issue. If they can't get those advantages early, it falls apart, and the set is a bit of a weaker setup than the Seraphine Tristana would have been to shove the bot lane in and get control. He is going to be out-traded by the Senna for the most part. She's just going to use her range to farm stacks off of him. So it's reliant a lot more on the Tristana than it would have been to shove in, to trade effectively, and to take control of this lane. The onus is on her, whereas previously the onus would have been on the support matchup.
Right. And so considering that, do you want to see Murdoch come to that bot lane and help them get that shove, help them with that pressure, or do you still want him to have his eyes on the top lane matchup and try to get that one snowballing?
I think when you've got this 4-1 composition, you need to be looking at the split pusher. You need to be making sure the feast or famine Tryndamere goes for the former rather than the latter. So that is definitely set up to be the focus, but you want to be aware of the objectives that you are going to be trading for it. Like, you can't just be giving up 3 dragons and coming into the mid game with Tryndamere mildly ahead. You need to be making sure that trade-off is going well.
Right. All right. Well, we'll keep that in mind as we jump into game. We're going to take a short little break here, but we will be right back with game 1. We'll see you then.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low.
Welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the Summoner's Rift. We are here for Game 1. Remember, this is a 3-game series between these two teams. We got Sneaky Ticklers on the blue side, and we have 4D Chess on the red side, looking to get that all-important first win of the series. And we're going to take a look at some of these rune choices, but it looks like we might have a 5-stack here.
Looking to deny any potential invades here, as Mordekaiser goes and scouts out on the opposite side. But it does confirm our suspicions from seeing this. It is going to be the fasting Senna with the farming Wukong, as she's picked up the Spectral Sickle.
Yeah, and I really like that option. I know we talked about it a little bit before the stream. I think it is super important for the Senna to be able to just fully focus, at least for the early stages of the lane, on getting those good trades down. And it's also really nice for the Wukong, of course, to grab some of those extra farm and some extra gold for himself. So we do like that. It looks like we might see a bit of a delayed invade here. This 4-stack from the Ticklers. We'll see. Yeah, looks like they are going to walk in. There's no wards placed down here.
Oh,
so
we're going for the Dawn Arts, the 125 classic. Is it going to 4-man jump onto blue buff?
4-man blast cone over the wall. Oh no, Wukong! He went the wrong way, but they're coming in here, getting the autos down onto Kane. The smite is going to go over to Nunu, so they grab the blue buff. Heal is going to be burned early. Set is going to be looking really low. Has to flash away, flash forward from a couple members of the Ticklers. They want to try and get it down. They're not quite going to grab it, though. Bongo Tap is going to live. The Ticklers will run away with the blue buff, but it seems pretty even for the Summoner spell trades across the board there. Top lane, that's an early ignite there from Juggernaut. Just looking to grab some early lane control here.
This is exactly what we talked about in this matchup, though. Having the early lane control gives you the opportunity to trade that much more effectively. And you can go aggressive on these trades knowing that he has that Q to heal himself up as well. Whereas Mordekaiser needs to do a lot more work to get that shield up from himself. So Juggernaut has a really nice setup, but also on the other side, Timic has a brilliant setup for himself, already 2 camps to the 0 of Murdoch. Really nice start, burning a couple flashes, holding on to his own, means that the gank potential is so much lesser from a Kane at this phase of the game. He has to play that much more cautiously.
Yep, and so we have Timic starting his 3rd camp here, and Murdoch has just started his 2nd. He is forced to start his Raptors first, as he didn't get a leash after that bit of a tragic early start for him there on the blue side jungle. Is going to be able to grab this red buff for himself, and we'll see where he does go. It was Juggernaut walking into the enemy blue side jungle here, got a really nice ward down. So hopefully Murdoch can play off some of this knowledge that they have gained.
But that setup of the bot lane invade sets up exactly what we talked about in the pregame as well. This Senna with control of the lane gets to trade that much more effectively. This is a farm advantage already going over to the Wukong, making it so much harder for the Tristana to get these trades up, making it so much harder for Bongo Tap to even hit level 2, as he's being zoned out of experience for so long, just ticked over to it.
Yeah, we're seeing it already. Of course, the Senna with this extra range can just walk up with impunity and get the auto attacks and that harassment down on to Bongo Tap. They are also grabbing the shove here, and Facebreaker coming in. This could be trouble, actually. Wukong trying to save his AD carry, but that's going to be the first blood onto Tristana. Going to be hopping on out. They don't want to go for anything extra aggression, but actually toppling now some action. That's going to be a dead Tryndamere. The flash forward. Killer Unicorns with the reply.
And both of these lanes that have the advantage disrespect. You see the Tristana able to pick up first blood in the bot lane, as the Senna disrespects the engaged threat of a set at all times. And on the other side, Juggernaut just didn't have the knowledge to be able to avoid that gank, and still shoved in very hard, got caught out, gets killed. So both of these advantages that we talked about have been nullified already. Mordekaiser sitting with a comfortable lead in CS and in kills, and on the bottom side, the Tristana finally catching up to some CS now, with the Wukong not dying in that previous trade, still cleaning up.
Yeah, I have to give my apologies to Nerf Snugglebutt there, as I did caster curse him just a little bit, although we have possibly some more action on the bot lane. Just gonna miss the face breaker there. But yeah, I was calling out how he could step up whenever he wanted for the harassment, and of course, just as I say that, he steps up too far and gets grabbed on in.
But already, we can see Timmick getting some chain ganks off, getting just a little bit of bonus pressure. Doesn't need to do much more than that. Turns up, shoves in the wave, denies Kayn access to his jungle by constantly pressuring every wave at once. So this is what you need to do as Nunu. Impact as many lanes as possible so that the enemy jungler is just cut off from access to the lanes, cut off from access to the river. And it gives you more control to be able to contest jungle camps. But Kayn did actually get double scuttle on that, so he's caught up on the camp he missed early on, gets an early base timing to get some of these early stats going, already getting there with what we assume is going to be a gore drinker for Red Kayn.
Yeah, definitely would like to see the Red King here, especially into the triple melees that we do see with the Wukong down here in the bot lane as well. I think that he actually is just a little bit behind still here. Timmick got a bit of an earlier back as he did reset after getting that nice gank into the top lane and has been able to influence the game a bit more than his enemy. But now we have more trade in the top lane. Tristana's going forward. Bongo Tap will take it with the Ignite. But bot lane really not going well here for the Ticklers so far.
Yeah, it's that one stings a bit when it happens immediately afterwards, and this Hail of Blades Tristana is capitalizing really hard on these early game trades. That is why you go for the Hail of Blades, so you can pull that off in the 1v1, and that's going to give them the first dragon as well as they shove in mid.
Yep, pressure in the bot lane, pressure in the mid lane, Infernal Dragon on the table, and this should be an easy pickup here for D Chess. Going to be getting themselves off to an early advantage here with a nice dragon pickup starting that stack in early on here. They do have to worry about this Tryndamere matchup in the top lane here just a little bit. I would like to see Murdoch lend his attention towards that lane. You talked about it a little bit in the pregame, wanting to get this Tryndamere snowballing so that they can play for that 4-1 composition that they have drafted for. So we'll see if they do maybe even roam their support up there to try and get things going on up in the top lane.
But you know what, Lindor, there's a little bit of an issue with that. There's a little bit of an issue with wanting to play 4-1 here, and you notice that there's 2 teleports on the side of Sneaky Ticklers, but there's currently 0 on the side of 4D Chess.
True.
Mid and top opted out of it, meaning that it's so much more difficult to play that 4-1 when you can have the Orianna sit there and the Mordekaiser TP in, or the Mordekaiser sit there and the Orianna TP in, Nunu turn up from a flank. That the nullifying the ability to play in these outnumbered situations by not having TP means that it's so much more difficult to play side lane. It relies on the rest of the team pulling off engages of their own to give the Tryndamere the pressure. And that's really difficult when you've got a Seraphine and a Set being the only engaged threats there. You have to rely on so much more of running through the skill shots, running through the artillery barrage that's coming through from Orianna and Senna.
Yep. Yeah, and those 2 teleports are going to be all important, as you're saying. Chat, if you can let us know if we're behind or ahead of the video, that'd be awesome. Sounds like we're off just a little bit, so we'll try and get that one sorted out here. But I do want to talk about some of these rune choices, although maybe they're not going to let us. Rift Herald has been started up here. All right, I think we have a moment here, because we were talking about the Aerie just a little bit, the Seraphine going for that choice. You were saying you might have liked the Phase Rush instead. You want to maybe elaborate on that just a little bit?
Yeah, I was saying that if you're looking to play 4-1, that the Phase Rush is just that much better, but another engage in the bot lane is going to cut me off as Snugglebutt's going to go down again.
Again, Snugglebutt's going to die to that explosion. Wukong trying to get the trade kill back, has the ultimate, going to flash forward. Bongo Tap going to go down as well. 1v1 here, 80 carry versus the farming Wukong. Tristana going to have to hop herself away, not able to quite get the better of that one, but it is Snugglebutt falling once again.
And when you're thinking about this, the Wukong does have a lot of team threat, like we said, but you do not want to be feeding this many kills to the Tristana early. It's going to give her that much more pressure to just jump in as much as she wants. I normally say when I see a Tristana, please unbind W, just play for safety. Think about it before you W in. When you're this far ahead, you can just start thinking about throwing yourself into harm's way.
Yep, top lane here, another attempt up in this lane. Tryndamere has the ultimate, just going to be able to spin on a way out of that one, but Timic is continuing to exert his pressure, and we have a roam here into the mid lane. See if Snugglebutt wants to get something done. Flash gets the flash, that's going to be the shockwave as well, but it's the encore coming through. Orianna going to eat one more tower shot, and Maple Cat going to get the kill. A nice charm coming through with the ultimate to get that one.
A really good turnaround there from Maple Cat, as it seemed like he was the one that was going to get picked off, but Fansparks was a little bit too far and gets the tower shots to the face, ending him. And what we talked about was the idea that Maple Cat might struggle with going for the airy, because the phase rush makes it that much harder to be ganked, makes it a little bit easier to chase people down, but he simply wants to go for the poke. He wants to go for the extra shielding. He wants that extra combat damage rather than the safety, and it seems to be working for him so far.
Yep, definitely getting the better of that one in the mid lane. Uses the flash early on as that gank attempt does come through from Snugglebutt, and they just push forward on it a little bit too hard, really wanting to grab that kill, and unfortunately their lives over.
Nice and early Moonstone there for Maple Cat. Means that they can play around skirmishes that much more effectively because they have an early Mythic. They have that early power spike. So we're looking at this second Dragon maybe as a big timer to start up a 3v3. And maybe a 4v4 as everybody on the map collapsing on this location.
All right, so chat's letting us know that we are just about maybe 9 or 10 seconds ahead of the video. So I'm going to jump back maybe 5 or so seconds here. Try and maybe make it sync up just a little bit better. Let us know how that works, chat. But yeah, we're going to keep our eyes on this dragon fight. Things are going down now. It's up in 40 seconds. Juggernaut does not have TP, and Killer Unicorns actually just used his to get back into the top lane. So top laners probably will not be joining this fight unless they want to walk themselves down to the dragon pit. And so a 4v4, who are we favoring here in this all-important second dragon?
Well, the shove in mid and bot speaks to the fact that the control is in the favor of 4D Chess. They should be able to control this one, deny access. And you see Timic steps a little bit too far forward. This is what happens when you don't respect it.
Ooh, Senna ultimate coming down. They're trying to look for something here. No ultimate for the Seraphine, but now they're going to get the Facebreaker back on in. Haymaker coming through as well. It's going to be the showstopper as Timic is going to get crushed into the ground by the suplex. Wukong trying to buy time for the team as they're going to take Bongo Cat tap out on the front lines. It's now 2 going down as Kane fell as well, and it's a 2-for-1 across the board. Junglers going down, Bongo Tap going to be in the death chamber as well.
But even though they lose out on the kill trade, they win on the health trade, which means they are going to be able to hold on to control of bot lane. Mid lane does go slightly awry, however, on the other side. And the Rift Herald has to be just dropped in mid lane, as it was going to be lost from the inventory of Timic, who, as we said, went too aggressive on that, got caught out. But the Dragon is at least stalled. They can buy the extra time. They can get those item spikes of themselves. You can see the Sunderer now completed for Wukong. Should be more comfortable for a team fight if it was to happen right now.
Yep, and it is going to look like they're might look for that one. It is the Tryndamere walking down here. They are going to get the Rift Charge off, so Timic is pretty happy grabbing that gold from about a mile away here. But it is the Dragon started up here now from...
Yeah, really late reset from Senna. Means that she's not going to be here for this. They pretty much have to concede it unless we see a Miracle Steal.
They're TPing in with the Orianna, but yeah, I think they're just going to be too late. Nunu's going to get rooted up. They're just going to take it down. And that's 2 dragons to 0 here now for 4D Chess.
Yeah, the TP there unfortunately wasted. This needed to concede it, play for the fact that they have the better reset timer and get control of the map. Instead, the late Senna reset. The Orianna having to TP, well, all it takes is losing a little bit of CS in top lane for them to roam down, get the dragon, and get back in control again. Really nice moves from 4D Chess there, just outplaying the map.
Yep, and we're starting to see some item spikes continue to come in. It is the Riftmaker completed on the top side for Killer Unicorns. It is also the Kraken here for Tristana. She is quite a bit ahead down here, of course, over that Senna, who's not getting any income. We have an attempt down here in the bot lane. Orianna looking for the roam. It's going to be the snowball landed on the set, and I think he's looking for the suplex backward. He's going to get it. Flashing away, but now Wukong is on top of them all. It's the Nunu as well, and Shockwave cuts through both the bot laners. Tristana tries to jump away, but gets hit with the dissonance, and it's a double kill for the Orianna.
For a minute there, it looked like Bongo Tap was just going to sacrifice himself, try and let the Tristana get out. instead delivers the doom directly to her doorstep. And it is going to be that a lot of this bot lane tower is going to disappear. With the plates gone, it should be first tower into the pockets of the Wukong, who's already pretty strong. It means that this game is starting to slip away from them. You can see a 2.5k deficit. Their plays they're making are winning out on the map, but they're not winning the skirmishes.
Yeah, and yeah, as you mentioned, that Wukong is starting to feel really, really strong here. Killer Unicorns is just trying to wreck some havoc here as they try to take down this Rift Herald. He actually has his team joining. That's going to be the Death Realm coming down onto the Kane. He wants to try and get the 1v1, and I think he might be able to just get him. Encore is going to go wide as the 4D chess members are not quite coordinated here, but it's going to be the Tristana going down, or the Tristana taking out Orianna, and now Killer Unicorns, you're on the wrong side of the map, buddy. He's going to fall. It's actually 2 going down for the Ticklers, and the Rift Herald still going over to 4D chess as they grab that scrappy fight.
Exactly what they needed is the Mordekaiser oversteps his bounds. Now they can drop the Rift Herald mid, and just as they got first tower, it's going to spin right back.
Yeah, and they want more. Senna going to be going down. Undying Rage coming through as he's going to be grabbing another one with the tower. Does grab him on the backside. Unlucky there, Juggernaut, but they've got the Rift Herald charging here. They're looking for even more. They're knocking on this second tier tower. Looks like they're going to be able to grab that, and Sin, they might even get a triple Herald charge here.
They're going to get the charge, but they are just going to abandon that Herald to die at the inhibitor tower, get an earlier reset. Perhaps should have just abandoned it a little bit earlier, but all the same, big turnaround on the back of that Herald play. Mordekaiser slightly overstepping means that his team overcommits into him to try and save his life. And so much is won in return. The Tristana gets a couple kills. They drop the Herald mid, get 2 towers directly into her pocket. And she is the threat on the other side. So it's all on 2 members right now. It's on Goose and it's on Maple Cat. Sorry, it's on... I wouldn't even know how to pronounce that. On the Tristana.
YD Bangitude. That's what I'm going with.
Bangitude, yeah.
I don't know if that's correct, but that's what we're going to say. I do have to say, for that Rift Herald fight, it was once again the Ticklers maybe just biting off a bit more than they can chew. They had just gotten that team fight victory on the bot side around the Dragon. They didn't even reset before running back up to contest for the Rift Herald. And before that fight, you said that they were about 2k ahead. Now look at the gold. It is exactly even. So once again, pressuring just a little bit too far, and they're able to, or the 4D chess members are able to punish that mistake.
Exactly, like not resetting, not using that gold advantage effectively, and overcommitting to try and stop the Herald cost them dearly. You let that Herald go, you already got the first tower gold. You're comfortably in the lead. Use the reset power to just win more skirmishes, deny them at the 3rd dragon, and win the fight here. If they were coming into this fight with these item spikes denying that last fight, this would be so easy for them to walk in with a Mordekaiser ultimate, just destroy Murdoch and take over the fight from there. Instead, they overcommit into a fight where they did not have any kind of advantage. And now you can see that just forcing a flash by stepping up is Bongo Tap.
Yeah,
they have so much control over the pit.
Dragon spawning in just a little bit here. And yeah, as you say, they have full control of this area. They have control words around the river, and it's really, really hard for the Ticklers to step up here. They might want to look for something. Snowball coming in, going to get the pull back, and this is going to be some damage. But the Encore coming through, it's going to catch on to 3. Senna ultimate to try and provide some heals, but it's not going to matter. Shockwave is not quite going to go off as Orianna dies before it can quite land. And now it's Wukong trying to do what he can on the back lines, but I don't think it's going to matter. Your 3v1 and a flash away from Senna is all he's going to get. It is the clean ace for 4D chess as they're going to take their 3rd dragon of the game.
Maybe the call-out was Freudian, as it is on Maple Cat in that fight. Lands a huge ultimate to shut down the way into the river for the side of 4D chess. Really well done. You saw perfectly executed where the set was into the back line. The Tryndamere is able to follow up perfectly to deny the Orianna even her ultimate as she sombreroed and couldn't even get it off before her death. Really nice win on the fight, really good control. It means that they get that inhibitor tower.
Yep, they get the tower, but it looks like the chase might be in. Wukong with that phase rest has some speed, but they're not quite going to be able to take it. And I just want to go back to something you talked about in the early stages of this game, or even in the pregame, about how hard it would be for 4D Chess, if they're behind, to run at this Ticklers team. And I have to say, now that they're ahead, it's almost the same problem, but flipped this time. The Ticklers, they want to try to walk into that pit, but they can't walk through the Seraphine ultimate. It lands onto 3 members, and they just get shredded apart.
Yeah, the huge denial is what really was the story of that last fight. That you look at the potential they've gotten with the Nunu running in, with the Wukong finding a flank, and instead they just all funnel down a corridor. They can't walk in like that. They need to make sure they're fanning out. They need to make sure they're collapsing in like a circle around them that's slowly collapsing. So they have to pick a side to engage on, and you follow up onto that. If you commit too hard to a choke point like that, that is always what's going to happen against a set, against a Seraphine, and of course with the extra CC of the Red Cane, and looking at the Tryndamere, who just gets to E in and sit on top of 3 people, right-clicking, not even having to move at all, auto-pathing. Yeah, it made it pretty easy.
Yeah, and as you say, that Red Cane is, of course, in. He has the Gore Drinker there as well, and there's no anti-heals built yet here for the Ticklers, so I want to see them get at least 1 or 2 of those. Tryndamere, he's bopping with those auto attacks, as you said. Not quite going to be able to chase him down, but he is starting to get the better of this 1v1 in the side lanes.
You can see because of the Quick Blade, he got 2 E's off just during that skirmish. He's starting to get to the point where he can just run you down the side lane and stick to you endlessly, just a little bit more damage, and he's going to be unstoppable, likely going for the Kraken Slayer now. Could even go for the Gale Force if he wanted, just to make sure he's got even more sticking power.
Mordekaiser got the big Krug, so that's a mental victory there, but not losing or not winning out on the actual victory, unfortunately, in this matchup. Do you think
the small Krugs are worth the most. It's fine.
It's true. They changed the gold. Big Krug's not worth anything. Screw it. But no, is there a point in this game where you think it swings back here and Killer Unicorns can maybe get the better of this 1v1? Actually, we got more action set. Gonna be in a little bit of trouble. Haymaker does buy some time. Facemaker as Facebreaker there as well, but he's actually gonna go down. Nice pickoff here as the Ticklers look for that pickoff.
Yeah, really nice pick there. Overstepping is Bongo Tap, but coming back to what you were saying, is there a place in which Mordekaiser can win this matchup? And unfortunately, right now, no. The build path requirement to do that requires like an early Bramble Vest, some more anti-heal. Instead of getting that, he's gone strictly for the 1v1, but looking for a pick here with Timic. Juggernaut sneaking around the edge.
It's 2v2 trying to get away, try and grab some of that fruit, but it's not going to matter. Undying Rage is in, but actually, he almost got that with the spin forward, but it is Nerf Snugglebutt showing up just in time, able to save his top laner, and they finally take out Juggernaut.
At least able to get flash for flash, but a lot committed onto him means that they get the free reset for the side of 4D Chess. But now you've got to see what can they do with the pressure of having Tryndamere off the map. Really not much. Bot lane's even shoved. They are just starting to get back onto it, and maybe they're going to get a little bit of shift onto this mid lane tower. But all it is the direct influx of gold. We really need to be looking at more than just a little bit of gold right now. The gold lead's 2k, but it's the map lead that's so much more important when you're looking at Ocean Soul in the next few minutes.
Yep, and looking at that map lead, it is all of the turrets down in the mid lane here. Sneaky Ticklers, they have no towers to retreat to, and that just makes it even harder for them to face check this dragon. We saw what happened last time. They didn't have control of the area, and they just got absolutely destroyed as they walk in through the choke. Once again here, it's a similar setup. They have not been able to take control of the river and preempt this dragon try, and now they're going to have to try and find a way in.
Yeah, they want to have mid and bot pushed so they can try and walk into the river with some kind of control, but they don't have it at all. It's fully 4D Chess's river, and they're able to walk in freely and start to contest this vision, start to pressure them back towards their own red buff, and utilize that to get first dibs on this dragon. And if Ocean Soul goes over, I'm pretty sure Tryndamere wins that matchup endlessly.
Oh, yeah. Ocean Soul is so powerful, especially on some of these split pushes. Oh, that's going to be encore onto the Wukong, but it's only one. Nunu now is going to split the map as the Senna ultimate over the top. Dawning Shadow is going to provide the shields, but now it's Tryndamere onto the backline. He's got the crits, he's into the Undying Range, he gets one. It's 2 for 1 so far in the fight. Wukong in the backline trying to take out the Tristana, but the heal is in, and it's a Rampage for Bangarang. That's what we're calling him now, and it's the team fight over to 4D Chess. They get the 3 for 2, and they get the jungler Murdoch here is still alive. Dragon has been started. It has to be a miracle steal for the Ticklers, but I don't think they have what it takes to get this one. 4D Chess just going to pull it out and should be able to grab this one real easy. They do smite it down, and that is the Ocean Storm for the 4D Chess members.
And the combo is too strong for them with Bangarang jumping in deep and Maple Cat dropping the base. It's just too much to bear. And they are going to win that fight. Even though it's 3 for 2, they never felt like they lost control of the river. And they never felt like they were losing control of the map. And it meant that it's just so much easier for them to clean up when all of their carries just sit there untouched. Only one that really was pressured throughout was Juggernaut, who couldn't find a way onto the back line initially, was only able to pick up Timic right at the end, but denying the Dragon contest by killing him, still pretty important.
Yep, definitely. And I want to kind of talk about Goose here a little bit, because we have seen in these fights he's trying his damnedest to dive into that back line to try to get the kill onto the Tristana, but we've seen time and time again now that he has not been successful. Is this kind of a moment where maybe he needs to ask himself, should I be peeling for my team? Do we need to play more front to back? And instead of him going for that heavy dive, look to just try and provide space for his back line? What do you think?
See, he's not really got a dive buddy at the minute, so like you're saying, he's diving in on his own and getting caught out. So if he was finding the ability to get onto the backline with the Nunu with him, with the Mordekaiser with him, get an Orianna ultimate that hits multiple people, it would be fine. But instead, on his own, he cannot do all that work. Orianna ult in that last fight hit nobody, so he needs to be looking at coordinating more with his team than going for those solo plays.
Baron has been started here. It's Tryndamere into the fray. He's 1 versus 5, though, as the rest of the team is not quite ready. He's going to be going into the Undying Range and not going down, but now it's Bongo in a little bit of trouble. He's going to fall. It's a killing spree for Snugglebutt, as now it's even another falling. They're going to be able to get the Tristana. No, she jumps away. It's Nunu falling, so 1 for 1 so far on the fight. Tryndamere wants to continue looking for more, but he doesn't have the ultimate. Looking for the
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut maybe going a bit too forward, but now it's Bangarang going forward. The smackdown, he gets it. He's going to get the reset. Orianna trying to do what she can, but now we have a 1v1 in the top side as well. This fight is just so scattered. Orianna running for his life, but she's going to Zonia's the Dawning Shadow. Not what you like to see. Wukong does get the best of the 1v1, but this fight, I mean, I don't even know what's happening anymore. Wukong is the last man standing. I feel like we were fighting that on 3 different fronts, and it is 4D Chess coming out on top across the board.
Yeah, the Ocean Soul doing its work there in the 1v1s, extending those 1v1s they should have easily lost. And Goose still trying to run away. Can't even escape. We're just going to see the Baron. Oh, maybe be contested by Timic. Can he get there in time? No.
Yeah, if he had gotten in the pit, he had the smite and the consume, but there's just not enough time. He's going to end up giving his life over. Goose will be able to get the execute, but I mean, yeah, it's Ocean Soul victory. It is the Baron onto 4D Chess as well, and they have a 6k gold lead. Where are we going to look to find their pressure here?
Well, they've already got the mid lane hard set up to be shoved, so they just need to make sure they're collapsing outwards to the center. So you get the top lane outer down, which Bongo Tap is doing here. You get bot lane shoved, and you use that side lane pressure to make sure you can push mid uncontested. With the vision gone from the top and bot jungle, mid lane just can't be contested. You cannot engage, you cannot step up. You're just going to be flanked from all sides. So that is where they're looking to take over. You can see already bot lane shoved nice and deep. If they can utilize that to take control of red side jungle and then take control of mid through that, it's so much more difficult for the side of Sneaky Ticklers to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, and speaking of difficult for Sneaky Ticklers, I'd like to take a look at their vision here, because they have 4 wards on the map. On the top side.
Nunu's a battle ward. What do you mean? It's fine.
Yeah, he did get into that jungle there, but all of their vision is on this top side, so they don't have anything on this bot side where it is 4D Chess looking to take control. They have Tryndamere in that bot lane, split pushing. They've got their 4-man squad in this mid lane, and they're going to look to split the map here and play this tug-of-war game as they try to break the base of the Ticklers.
Yeah, this is exactly it. It's a lose-lose situation. If you overcommit on one side, the other side gets taken. So they've got to play this slow. They've got to look for a potential engage, an overstep, perhaps, from 4D Chess. But right now, that is not happening.
Yep, we see the Baron Siege coming in here. They're just trying to slowly chip away onto this inhibitor. Tryndamere in the bot lane has that wave crashing now as well. And we'll see if the Ticklers are going to look for an engage here, or if they just kind of want to wait it out, try to defend as best they can. But so far, it's not looking too good. Orianna almost getting caught there. Luckily, the phase rush does save her. She's able to get away, but Tryndamere is fearless. He's stepping forward here. Going to be looking to get pressured off as now they look for the engage with the Wukong. It's the mid lane inhibitor falling, and now 4D Chess will look to cycle towards this bot lane. Tryndamere already working away. They're going to put the autos in. They're going to break the base of the Ticklers, and they're going to be pretty happy with this. 2 inhibitors down in the enemy base, in the Elder Dragon spawning very shortly.
Yeah, with the 2 inhibitors down, with Elder coming, it's near impossible to take this, but a 3-man charge.
Range on that encore. Tryndamere's into the fight. He's got his team on the other side of the wall. Juggernaut is going to take out Killcorn, falling down as well. He's going to flash out, still alive, as Juggernaut still wins, and they're just knocking the ball down. Fancy Farts is going to go into the Zanyas, but Sin, that's going to be the game.
Who even needs Elder as they clean that up there and then? Tristana ending the game 10-1 and 10. Bangarang dropped the base hard this game.
He did indeed. Bangarang, with the help of that encore, absolutely taking over this game. Even right from the get-go, we saw in that early laning phase, they were able to get some phase breakers down and combo that with the Hail of Blades Tristana to really get things snowballing. Incredible work there. 4D Chess as they take game 1.
It was really nice control throughout, and we saw a little bit of slipping up in the early game as Tryndamere overstepped, started to fall behind, but when the bot lane snowballs that aggressively off of bongo taps and gauges, and Bangarang going for the Hail of Blades working so effectively during those early phases, it just became that much easier to snowball skirmishes. When they had those 3 dragons already, the reliance was on Sneaky Ticklers to step into these objectives. They had to try and contest to deny the soul, and that is where the game fell apart.
Yep, exactly that. And we were talking about how this Senna can take control of that lane, especially with the fasting Senna, but not quite able to do it. There was Snugglebutt, and as you mentioned, that bot lane snowball, super integral to the game. They get their Dragon Soul very, very cleanly. They then transition that into the Baron, and it only takes 1 Baron for 4D Chess to finish this one out just 30 minutes in. So they take out game 1. We are going to take a step back here for a couple minutes, but we will be back with game 2 action. So don't go anywhere.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun.
To your pre-made Rampage action, we just saw 4D Chess take out the Ticklers in game 1 in pretty convincing fashion. So jumping into game 2 here, what are some adaptations we want to see from the Ticklers, Sin?
Honestly, most of the adaptation needs to come in execution. The draft was fine for the most part. I think the Tryndamere was a pick they really weren't expecting. That kind of caught the Mordekaiser off guard as it was picked blind. But overall, it's going to come down to how they play the map. They got caught out on multiple occasions, either overstepping their bounds or just giving up far too much on multiple points in top and bot lane at the same time, for example. And it's those kind of plays that you can't let happen. But hopefully this time they're able to switch it up, as you see a bunch of bans already on the board. The Olaf and Ornivia banned again. This time the Senna and Seraphine taken off the board away from 4D Chess.
Yep, and that leaves the Udyr up, so that's going to be the Udyr first pick for 4D Chess. This is something that we've seen. Yeah, I mean, anyone who has played any League of Legends lately knows that this champion is just absolutely brutal to go up against. The bear slap mechanics are just, they're disgusting, honestly. I mean, he runs at you.
Highly mechanical champion, yeah.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of old Tarek with his mechanical depth. So hard to execute on, where you have to click on somebody and then press one button. It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you have the mechanical prowess to play this champ, it's definitely something you should be playing. So we'll see how it does in the hands of Murdoch here. It is going to be the Ashe to answer, and maybe the Nunu once again here. It is going to be that pick.
We've got a couple of Freljord champions coming through already. Only Freljord so far. But the Udyr Tristana, I'd love to see this Tristana again, but against the Ashe, can be pressured out a lot more in those first few levels. A lot of pressure can force you off the wave, can at least keep you at bay, but the Tristana has the wave clear to try and stop herself being pinned too far down in the lanes. All down to the support matchup on this one.
Yeah, so I think that the Ashe might be more of a pick to kind of counter the Udyr and maybe try and kite that out. However, it is going to be difficult for this Ashe in this lane. I think this could be a Swain support, and that comboed with the Tristana, we could see this early aggression from 4D Chess in that bot lane once again.
I low-key hope this Swain is support. I do love to see some Swain support, but all the same, just seeing a Swain in general is a nice change of pace at the minute. It's been so set as to what the mid laners are that seeing Swain come through would be a big surprise, but it's not a bad matchup against Galio.
Yeah, so that Galio could be a flex pick. Not 100% sure where we're going to see that go. Of course, it could be the support. It could also be going into the mid lane. Set is going to be banned away, so maybe for Ticklers, they're expecting this Swain to flex into the mid lane.
Yeah, I could definitely see it being a mid laner, but I'm looking at the Thresh support right now with this comp. If you're playing into an Ashe especially, playing Thresh could be pretty nice. You just lantern people out of the way of those arrow pathways. If an Udyr goes particularly deep, you can lantern them back out, etc. With mobile champions like these two, the Thresh can pair really well.
Yeah, and even with the Tristana too, as you say it, I realize the Tristana can then have more free reign to go aggressive. So not surprisingly, we do see the Tryndamere hitting the ban table here, and this could be the Thresh ban. They're going to ban it themselves.
Okay, so acknowledging their own vulnerability, their own mobility, and playing around that one themselves, so the Tristana doesn't get quite as much free reign if she's against the Thresh. And, it does say even more that Swain is more likely to be the support. It says that they're likely to go for this bully lane, try and stop the Ashe from having any laning phase, and then rely on the engage to come from elsewhere.
Yeah, and it also says that they were expecting the Galio to go mid lane, but now this Orianna lock-in, it looks like the Ticklers are going to have a nice flex here, able to get the Orianna into the mid lane and draw those support bans, and then just send the Galio there.
Galio still a solid support in this meta. We'll see if he does go for the Predator option, where you just pop the Predator and run at them with your W active, which could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But the Nami, is that locked in? Okay. Oh, Sona. There we go. The movement speed to run people down, amplifying the Udyr even more, amplifying the Swain even more, and giving a really effective bully lane is quite nice here. But it does mean that she's very vulnerable to early engages, has one of the lowest health pools of anyone in the game, besides like unmounted Kled or those fringe cases.
Yeah.
So just the vulnerability there can be rough, but utilizing the range advantage is where she can shine.
Yeah, we'll see if she can sort of play on the edge in this spot lane to get the poke down against the Galio without getting engaged on, because as you say, she can be very easy to burst out, especially through the early stages, but really across the entire game in general. It is going to be the Mordekaiser here for DChess, so that one's going to be switching sides here. We'll see what the reply is.
All right, Lindor, give me an Urgot here.
Ooh.
I want to see it.
I think Killer Unicorns does play the Urgot. We'll see what he wants to go for.
Oh. It's a 4-1 coming back the other way this time around. I like to see it. This is a lot more mobility from the jungle and support duo to be able to collapse into that side lane. You look at the Galio ultimate and Nunu snowballing in can really help you turn that one. And the Fiora does like to play right on the edge of that Mordekaiser passive, so she can play around it, trade into it, get the movement speed boost to dart in and out, and get short trades, whereas Mordekaiser wants to have these long drawn-out trades where he can proc Conqueror.
So that's all great information and all, but unfortunately we are now getting information that it is not the Fiora. So
it's Volibear, okay.
Volibear into the top lane there, so
at least the Fiora made sense. it's not like it was an Amumu lock-in or something.
Yeah, the volley fits decently well here as well. It can be a
big
dive.
bruisery boys.
Galio, yep, exactly. They can also look for some engages with the Orianna the Orianna ball rather in that same vein. So I don't mind the Volibear here. Also can enable some dive options, of course, with that ultimate. So yeah, decent frontline and decent dive for the Sneaky Ticklers.
So once again, I have to come back to ease of execution. And the Sneaky Ticklers has got it in spades. You got the Ashe, the Galio, the Orianna, the Volibear. There's a lot of easy one-button point-and-click ins. Whereas it's going to be a lot more execution heavy for the side of 4D chess. We meme on Udyr all we want, but Udyr playing into Ashe, Galio, Orianna, Volibear, it's a little bit difficult to try and get on top of the backline. You have to pick your moments a lot more effectively. You have to be following up on a good route from Swain, a good Sona ultimate, a good Mordekaiser into the backline to find those ins. Otherwise, it's just a lot easier to just pick him off with, like we said, ease of execution. And when you are the team that is generally considered worse in the skill matchups, if you're looking down the ELO, they are the worst team for the side of Sneaky Ticklers. Ease of execution is what wins you games.
Yep. Totally agree. So for 4D chess, you're kind of expecting them, it sounds like, to play more for the picks, try to pick a couple members off and then maybe go for the...
At least until the mid-game, yeah.
Right, and then on the other side, much more 5v5. They have Galio ultimate, the Shockwave, and of course that Ashe arrow to start things off.
See, this is the difference here with the side of 4D chess. You want to be looking for those outnumbered situations. You want to be finding a 2v1, a 3v2, and trying to make sure you're getting a pick, getting in, getting out quickly. And when you've got the CC to be able to do that, when you've got the Sona, you've got the Swain, you can potentially look to pull that off. But on the other side, you want to be trying to force any skirmish you can. Not trying to look specifically for advantages. You're just looking to get fights, get advantages from those fights, and snowball that into mid-game objective control, where you're guaranteeing yourself a 5v5. Otherwise, 4D chess is going to deny you those 5v5s with the disengage they have. As we talk a lot about engage there, but the Sona disengage, the Tristana disengage, even the Swain disengage is actually quite heavy to be able to run into.
Yep, for sure. And so keeping that snowball in mind, is there a certain lane that you expect 4D to try to snowball in this early game? Are they once again going to be looking for this Tristana lane with the Udyr, or maybe they're looking to play the early game a bit more safe unless they see one of those opportunities that you're talking about?
I mean, I want to see some reset Tristana, I'll just say that.
We always want to see that.
Hail of Blades reset Tristana. The bot diff was pretty large last game, and if it continues to be that large, there's no reason not to play around it. Udyr's going to have a little bit of difficulty ganking Ashe Galio, but they don't have much mobility all the same. So as long as he's got the setup from the Tristana, setup from the Sona, and they can run in, the Udyr has a great setup to be able to get on top of them and secure those cards.
So I want to see Hail of Blades Tristana again, and if we do, I think that we're just going to go ahead and name that the Bangerang.
Yeah, exactly. I like that. It's locked down as the Bangerang. And the thing is, they've gone for another base drop with it, with the Sona.
Yeah, that's actually probably the entire reason that they picked the Sona, right? You got to get the crescendo with the Bangerang, because otherwise, what are you going to combo that with?
See, I'm imagining now, because the bongo tap, it's Sona, but she's got bongos in front of her instead of her fly. And she just slaps the bongos aggressively like DK bongo drums.
Yeah.
And that's how she sets off her ult.
I like it. Bongo, you need to
Have you ever played League on DK bongo drums?
I'm gonna need bongo tap to win worlds so we can get a bongo Sona skin, not gonna lie.
I mean, we need Saskia to win worlds so we can have Yumi played with her feet.
Oh my god, is that Ezreal player?
He played Draven, I think it was, but he played specifically duo
Draven.
Q to up to Diamond 5 with playing Yumi with his feet while he played AD carry with his hands. Yumi's just that easy. You can play it with your feet.
Yeah, you only have to hit 2 buttons. The hardest part of that would be having your cursor in the right spot to aim your ult, right? Like, what else do you got to do?
Exactly. It's easy.
All right. Well, we're not going to see that in this game, but we are going to see game 2 between 4D Chess and the Sneaky Ticklers. 4D trying to take a clean 2-0 here. We'll see if they can do that. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running
This is Lindor and Sin back to bring you game 2 between the sneaky Ticklers and 4D Chess. This game, you have 4D Chess on the blue side, Ticklers on the red side, and Sin, let's take a look at some of these summoner spell options and our rune choices before we get anything too spicy once again.
Yeah, I mean, we can see the Ignite mid lane from Swain. He thinks he's got kill pressure here, and he is willing to go for it into this matchup. But we do see the TP on both sides in the top lane, at least this time. So I'm not going to see any shenanigans like they did with the Tryndamere. In regards to runes, Conqueror Swain as well. I'm loving some of these choices. A lot of aggression coming out.
Yeah, you love to see that confidence coming out from Maple Cat. Definitely looking to keep that healing going in these team fights. Make sure he stays alive as long as possible with that ultimate as well. And I think the rest of the runes are pretty standard across here. We have Fancy Farts with that Phase Rush once again, which I do like on the Orianna. It's Ashe opting for maybe a bit more of an aggressive option here with the lethal tempo, so I like to see that. And other than that, looking pretty standard for me here.
Yeah, it's more of a team fight option as well, so it's looking for playing a little bit later into the game, and when they've got this much CC and there's that much lacking in CC on the side of 4D Chess, you do want to play for those later stages. That's why we see the tier on the Orianna. She wants to slow down the pace of the game and play for those later stages.
Yep, definitely like to see that. It's good that they're aware of their win conditions and they want to play for that late game. So hopefully they'll be able to play out some of this early game fairly safely. We mentioned that this Sona will be able to have some of that range advantage over the Galio, should be able to get control of this lane with some of that harassment. So we'll see if that does come true. And on the top side, early on in this Volibear Mordekaiser matchup, who do we think is going to be getting the better of this one early on?
Well, it looks like right now, because of the early press, the attack, that Volibear is winning it out. I like the choice to go for that extra aggression, go for that extra damage to win you the level 1. But as this lane goes on, we should see more and more that Mordekaiser takes control.
Right, and especially with that Doran's Ring start, that's a bit of an aggressive option there for Killer Unicorn. So definitely feel like he can get the better of this one in the early stages. He did grab that early push, was able to get a nice ward here into the enemy jungle. Udyr, of course, is one of the fastest, if not the fastest, jungle clearer in the game. So he's just
annoyingly, it's still Volibear.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Volibear is disgusting, and he clears so healthy, but...
Yeah. Like, there's a couple champions that are really underrated with their clear. One of them is Xin Zhao. One of them is Volibear. And, of course, Kayn being one of the fastest as well. But Xin Zhao, ever since they reworked him, has amazing jungle clear speed.
Yeah, so checking up in on this jungle matchup, it is Udyr with the full clear. He wants to try and get this bottom scuttle, but Timic has actually been able to make his way there first. He just went for the 5 camp clear, so he's going to grab this one up, and Murdoch, maybe he's going to look for this bot lane fight, as it looks like they want to go aggressive. Tristana going to get CC'd up, gets the jump away. Sona now stepping forward, but she's going to be in a bit of trouble as the junglers actually are trying to take a fight here. Udyr's getting one heal coming through, flash away from Timic, and now they're going to try and turn it back around. Murdoch gets taken down for first blood. That money's going to go into the pockets of Snugglebutt.
Way too greedy there from Murdoch. Doesn't have bot lane prio, doesn't even have mid lane prio, and is going for the 1v1 there. He needed to be backing off so much earlier. He got a good trade. He got Timic low. He even got the flash out. He just needed to walk away. Instead, baits himself into giving the first blood over to the Ashe.
He saw blood in his eyes and he wanted to go forward, but unfortunately...
It's just every Udyr.
Yeah, and now he's even going to be getting double scuttled. This top lane, Killer Unicorns, he thought he wanted this trade, but I don't know if you do, but he got the empowered W. He wants to try and trade it up, but now the shield's going to come through. He has to flash away. That trade is very spooky for Killer Unicorns. He has his jungler here now in his back pocket, but are they going to go for the
flash? Oh, got Timic going low. With Murdoch back on the map, playing towards this top side, it is risky for him being there. Maybe looking for a gank immediately to punish the Volibear. Oh god, he's recalling in vision. He's recalling directly in vision.
Oh no, he's going to be going down here. Has to get pulled back in. I was looking at the mid lane there for a second. Fancy Arts getting the better of the 1v1. Maple Cat going down, but it is Killer Unicorns just playing that a little bit too aggressive. Murdoch makes a trip up there to the top lane and grabs himself a kill.
Yeah, Maple Cat had been playing a bit too aggressive in this matchup, had been going really heavy in to try and get those extra trades, extra souls. But on the other side, Killer Unicorns is recalling directly in vision, not aware that there's someone sitting in a brush right next to him because he's not checked it at all. Unfortunately, just deserves his death there. Disrespected and gets punished.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but the good news for Sneaky Ticklers is that they are going to have priority over this dragon. It was the entire bot side here, 4 4D chests that were resetting, and so on this early game prio that they have managed to get in the mid lane, they're going to be able to grab that one.
Yeah, really nice pressure from the bot side of the map this time around, not losing out in the matchups. As it have been able to get the first dragon this time around, as last time they lost all 3 and were constantly pressured into having to continue fighting around this dragon. With this much better pressure, they're going to be the ones in control of that second dragon themselves. It's going to rely a lot more on the funnel in through the choke points from 4D chests. We'll see if they can control that with the likes of an Ashe ultimate and an Orianna ultimate.
Aggressive trade. Mid lane shockwave coming down. Demonic Ascension is there, though. The heals are coming through for Maple Cat.
Yeah, well played. Fancy Farts thought you could take it. Pops the ultimate, but it doesn't do enough damage through the healing of the Swain ultimate, especially with the Ignite active. And that's a kill right back. Does even up the scoreline.
Yeah, that's going to be feeling pretty good for Maple Cat. You hate when you take Ignite and then you get killed early in the lane. You don't even have the TP to get back, and you're like, why did I take this summoner spell? But he's going to be feeling vindicated there. Able to finally grab himself a kill, able to get use of that, and he's going to be coming back to lane feeling pretty good with that lost chapter.
I'm just going to check as well. He's already got 10 soul fragments, so he's stacking that up pretty nicely. starting to get to a point because, of course, the health you get during your ultimate, the damage you do, scales with that. As Killer Unicorn's getting engaged on Juggernaut.
Realm in the top lane coming down. Both ultimates are used as the Stormbringer is going to be coming down. We'll see who's going to get the better of this one. It actually looks like they're just going to part ways, not wanting to risk too much there on either side.
Yeah, Juggernaut seems to be slightly the better off for health, but with 3 men towards the top side, has to play safe.
Yep, Orianna and Nunu looking maybe to make something happen here. No flash on Juggernaut, so we'll see if they can get it. It's going to be a snowball into the top side. Juggernaut's got to be careful. They are going to let it's a nice pullback, casting that in the opposite direction. They're going to look for the dive, though. They're going to be coming in with the Nunu ultimate, and it's Fancy Farts grabbing himself the kill.
Looking for the turnaround, but Maple Cat is on his own up here, so unlikely to be able to do much. Oh, they're going for him.
Yep, he's going to look to get chased down here. That's going to be the shockwave to pull him back. Dissonance as well for some damage, but I don't know if they want to keep going forward from this. It looks like they're just a little bit timid. Maybe just wanted to take what they can, but no, it's the flash forward from Fancy Farts. He wants to keep pushing forward. Flash bear slap coming in as the mechanics are in for the Udyr. He can't quite get the kill. Can Fancy Farts, and Murdoch says thank you very much. Now they're looking to chase down Killer Unicorns. The smackdown. He beats the bear into the ground, and things are starting to come up here for D Chess.
And the finest of margins as Fancy Farts flashes in. Maple Cat's ultimate becomes available that very moment to start healing up. It was not available until right then. And that means that he is able to turn it around. They do get the 2 kills, and after it looks so good with the pick off onto Juggernaut, they do end up losing so much in response.
Yep, it's once again the Ticklers biting off more than they can chew. And speaking of biting things off, Volibear taking a bite out of Juggernaut here on the top lane as these two guys continue their heavy trading up here. Juggernaut really just wants to get this wave under tower and get a reset in. Looks like he is going to be able to do so.
Yeah, did use his TP to get back to the lane. Both champs, in fact, did, but the Herald being dropped.
Yep, Herald here in the mid lane just for a couple of plates, so that's going to be feeling pretty good, getting some money into that mid jungle duo. Fancy Farts trying to push them off here just a little bit, doesn't quite have his ultimate available. Ash Arrow coming in. Ooh, you can see what they were going for there, but not quite going to be able to land that one.
You gotta say, Fancy Farts has learned his lesson from the last game. Very early Oblivion Orb this time around, getting the anti-heal. And against this comp where you're seeing the Mordekaiser, Udyr, and the Swain, definitely a high value item.
Yeah, you love to see that adaptation. We were talking about
against Sona.
Yep, we were talking about it in the last game as well. They didn't grab any anti-heals until the very end of the game, and it is definitely something that was super valuable in the last game. It's going to be super valuable here again. You mentioned the Sona, the Swain, the Mordekaiser as well, so you love to see that, as well as some of the adaptations that we're seeing from them in how they're actually playing these fights out. Last game, we saw them bite off a bit more than they could chew in a couple of these scenarios, and here it looks like they're playing just a little bit more reserved, able to see when they are looking to go too far and stop themselves before they do that.
It's a little bit more controlled, but they are still falling behind. At least not as much as last time. Tristana gonna get taunted up, but buffers it with the taunt.
Mid lane now, we have Swain in a lot of trouble. He's going to get a nice root down, but the Nunu ultimate comes through. Sona and the rest of the team trying to join too late to the party. That's going to be a kill going over. Shockwave now for even more. Volibear ultimate as well. Oh, the pull in as Juggernaut smacks down Fancy Fart. It's really nice crescendo coming through as well. They might look to fight this, but Mordekaiser is getting melted down. It's a Galio ult coming in over the top. Hero's entrance is going to land, but it's not going to be into the Death Realm as Mordekaiser continuing to chase this one down, but he falls. Ashero still available as Udyr goes forward. Going to get hit by that as now it's the flash from Galio looking to get even more. The taunt's going to land, but no follow-up here just yet. Oh, poor D Chess. They want to bite off even more. They want to keep things going here. Tristana looking to make things happen. It's Bangarang coming in with the kill on and that is going to mean that they are going to continue this chase. Taunt coming through. It's a double kill for the Tristana. Now they've got
the Fancy Farts TP's back in.
Yeah, they've got their eyes on the dragon, but Fancy Fart is here pushing them off. He says, nah. You might have killed my teammates and you even killed me, but this dragon is not yours just yet.
And unfortunately, they are going to all have to reset. Maybe Ash can stick around for it, but they really want to reset here after that long fight. And the item spikes are starting to come through. You see the Turbo Chem Tank from the Volibear. You see the Frostfire from Timic. And there's some control now where they can fight with an advantage, now that the item spikes have been locked down. But that fight went so awry because they kept overstepping. Everybody just goes a little bit further than they should, and one by one get caught out. And it means that when you've got a Tristana who resets off of these low health champions, you're just putting yourself that much more at risk.
Yeah. I definitely would have liked to see them, after they took kind of the initial fight there, as the fight did break out, maybe pull off, look for that dragon, and then as the enemy team walks into them, maybe then look for the turn with the Galio ultimate and tools like that. But now, actually, speaking of the Galio, Gooseneck getting caught out here, has to be a little bit careful, has his Ashe to provide some space for himself, but it's the inside track on to the dragon here for 4D Chess. Volibear up in the top side without TP means that this dragon will be going over.
But the second dragon is denied away from the side of Sneaky Ticklers, meaning that they do have some control. They don't have to worry too much about being forced into soul point, being forced into team fights. They can play even around those objectives. Now they're going to have a decent amount of shove come the mid game as well. It's going to be a lot easier to play these fights out. So worth trading a couple shards there for the dragon, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think it's good awareness there from Juggernaut to realize that he can roam down to that dragon. He stays around in the area and is able to grab that for the team. Killer Unicorns making the right call up in the top lane to grab those plates, but now mid lane, even more action. Demonic Ascension and Shockwave traded back and forth, but Maplecat does not win that. Fancy Fart's going to get the better of the 1v1.
And the Ignite only now becomes available. See, it's a matter of moments between wins and losses in this mid lane. It's always these just a couple seconds back and forth or cooldowns that have made the difference. And unfortunately not willing to time around them, and Maplecat just decides to go aggressive. As so does Juggernaut here.
Continue, yeah. Killer Unicorns ulting in. He's going to go into the Death Realm, but the shield comes once again. We'll see who can get the better of this one. Juggernaut not wanting to take it, and Killer Unicorns flashes after him, bites off his head.
You see, the item advantage is too strong when you've got this 30 CS lead, when you've got the tower shards. This advantage for the Volibear now is starting to become far too much for Juggernaut to bear, and until he gets that first mythic item through, it is going to continue to be this much pressure onto him, as Volibear just does so much damage early with this Prestige attack.
Yeah, and speaking of getting that mythic, he did take a little bit of a pit stop here to grab himself that Bramble Vest to try and prevent some of the healing that's coming through for the Volibear. So that's going to delay that mythic even further. Not going to be able to grab his Riftmaker for at least a few more minutes here.
And it's meaning that it's that much harder for him to contest Kill Unicorns in the meantime. But the problem is, he's still trying to. He's still going for every single trade he can. He still thinks he can get solo kills every few seconds when he should be playing further back. He should just be playing for lane control. He's giving far too much over to this Volibear.
Yep. And that top lane matchup is going to be important when it comes to these team fights, but thankfully, Juggernaut, he does have that ultimate available. So if Killer Unicorns is too much for the team to handle, he can always just bring him into the Death Realm. Sure, he's going to lose the 1v1, but at least you don't have that bear wrecking havoc on your backline.
Yeah, it's even if he does lose that 1v1, at least he can deny that much. But the Tristana, so strong. Fancy Farts!
Oh, Fancy Farts has to flash away. He's going to try and use the Shockwave to buy some time, but it's a flash from Udyr. Can he get it? No! The bear slap goes onto the minion as Murdoch can't quite get the chase down. Nicely done there from Fancy Farts. He gets the flash out of Murdoch, and he escapes with his life.
They are playing for the Herald here, though, by getting that play, by forcing Fancy Farts out of the mid lane. They get a lot of shove, a lot of damage onto that tower for Tristana, and they can start up playing for this Rift Herald.
Yep, Ash Arrow is going to be coming into the mid lane here, but I don't know exactly what that's going to do. It's actually just going to miss. And yeah, as you say, it's the Tristana in the mid lane grabbing the first tower gold. It's the Rift Herald started up here for 4D Chess, and exactly what you said. That gank, sure, it wasn't successful, but it did the job. It pushed Fancy Farts out of the lane. They had the preemptive rotation from their bottom lane, which is allowing them to continue turning that pressure into even more on the map.
This is the kind of thing you talk about a lot as a coach. You talk about the idea that a play doesn't necessarily have to work, but if everybody is in on the same play, you are like 5 steps ahead of your opponents. You're able to do something off of the back of it from the fact that you have already rotated. from the fact that you already have that positioning and control, and you see the effects of it here. This is why we've seen the side of 4D chess just be more in control throughout the series, and even though they've started to fall behind in individual skirmishes in this game, they've still stayed even on gold, they've still stayed even on the map, and they managed to get that tower for Tristana there.
And yeah, exactly. It's exactly even in gold. I mean, a small lead, as you would expect, considering the lead that this Volibear does have.
And the Herald in the pocket of Murdoch, though, set to twist that.
True. Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a couple hundred gold, depending on what they can get with it. And just as I say this, I look at the Tristana's farm, and she actually has a pretty big lead for herself, along with those kills that he has been able to get. So, I mean, this dragon's going to be spawning in a few seconds, and this could be the fight where the game breaks open.
See, once again, Juggernaut going in for the 1v1, maybe a little bit ambitious.
Yeah, he's going to continue looking for it. The shield's going to come through. Can he get the smackdown kill? You're looking back through. It's just a nail biter up on the top lane, but Juggernaut is able to claim it. He has the TP available. Dragon is up. We'll see if he wants to grab the reset and try and TP to help his team here.
Yeah, he does have a lot of gold in his pocket as he picked up a 600 gold shutdown there as well, so he is going to be very impactful if they do want to play around the fight. What they should be doing here, Udyr should drop the Herald bot and they should go for this dragon. The longer you wait here, the longer you're winning with the Herald, so if they did that, they'd be so much more in control.
Yep, Killer Unicorn spawning in 8 seconds. He has the teleport available as well.
Drop the Herald, Murdoch, please!
If it's played, it will be a 5v5, but Murdoch, yeah, he's not quite looking for that on the bot lane. They're looking to just jockey over position here in the mid lane. They're waiting for Juggernaut to walk to the fight, but this is giving more time for the poke to come down, for the TPs to come in, and here they are. Okay, they're joining the fight. Killer Unicorns, they might have a flank. Do they know that he's here? They're looking to engage to the front line. It's the Sona coming through, but it's Bangerang on the backside, just doing what he can, and now the Volibear has joined, causing havoc onto the back line. It's another one falling here in just a moment, as Killer Unicorns is going to be the next to fall. Swain trades his life for the kill. Udyr going forward. They're looking for the damage. It's the Tristana resetting through the fight. Sure, it's a triple kill for Fancy Fart, but it's the kill for 4D chess.
And another fight win from Bangerang. You can see it started off really poorly as Juggernaut was caught out, shredded to pieces, but so was Timic. The overcommit comes on 2 flanks. And that means that they just all get low again. And what happens when you all get low? Tristana cleans up. Really well played from Fancy Farts all the same. Some really nice trading back and forth to make sure that he could keep his team in it. But it wasn't enough. He loses his life at the end. And Swain does a lot of work even without getting the second half of his ult off.
Yeah, and I mean, Bangerang just was basically completely untouched in that fight. You mentioned Fancy Farts doing a fantastic job. Yeah, but unfortunately, he eventually did get jumped on and taken out. And on the other side, the carry stood tall. The Tristana surviving the entire fight, now sitting at 6-0. Looking for a second item, Bloodthirster, I do believe, and yep, she is going to be just so strong. They're looking for the pick here in the top lane. Crescendo onto Killer Unicorns. They're looking for the bear slap. He's going to have to flash away and actually is just going to be able to get down on all fours and run away from that gank. But now we see the Rift Herald spawned in the top lane. They're going to be looking to grab this tower. The enemy team is here. They want to look to join. The Ticklers are looking for the fight.
Oh,
but
got another 5v5.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be the Bangerang coming in on the backside. It's a nice shockwave, but it only lands on enough to be lethal damage. Galileo getting caught up, and he looks to go back in. Oh no, Goose, he could have escaped with his life, but he chooses to Justice Punch back into the fight. Bangerang now looking to press forward, not quite having the ability to go forward. The Flash Bear Slap coming in. You want to continue it now. Here goes the resets. Bangerang coming in, gets one, as now it's going to be into the Death Realm. Is this Nunu? Yeah, he's going to be going down as he comes out in the middle of 4. Bangerang says, thank you very much. I will go legendary, and I just love to see this play from this Tristana. He knows exactly when he can go forward. He's patient with his W, eventually does get to go in, grabs the kill, gets the resets, takes the fight.
And these fights are working perfectly for Tristana. We keep saying it, but they're playing in and out, back and forth, small trade, small trade, small trade, even within these larger macro fights. So when everybody's low, you have the ability to make this all-in engage. You see the flash Udyr slap onto Snugglebutt that caused his death. You see the Tristana doing the big jumps in to try and get these kills locked down. And it's just that go button that they were waiting so long in the fight for. And when they press it, everyone dies.
Yep. And so it's obviously the Tristana that's really pushing these team fights over the edge. I mean, you've mentioned the rest of the team doing a good job of jockeying back and forth, but for the Ticklers here, what do you want to see them do to deal with Bangarang here on this Tristana, who's in these last couple of team fights has just been absolutely destroying?
They're not playing really collective enough. They're not playing synergized enough. What they need to be doing is looking for an all-in engage. They've got all this CC we talked about, but they're not using it on one target. They're just slowly wasting all their CC abilities like that just to try and survive, when they should be empowering themselves by targeting out one person, layering all of it together, and focusing people down. There just seems to be no team focus.
Yeah, Ticklers just proving your point there. You say they're wasting their CC. Snugglebutt just uses his Assault as disengage because he thinks he's going to. So it's
even when there's a Galio next to him with Tom.
Yeah, it happens again. They have to use the Shockwave to prevent farts from falling down. And now it's the Baron buff minions coming in. It's the Tristana with free firing onto this tower. And it's 4D Chess looking to break the base of the Ticklers. Oh, Udyr's going in. Yeah. Goodbye, Nunu. Exhaust coming in as the Volibear wants to go in. They're going to go look for the hero's entrance. Wayne just zoning the entire backline. And look at Bangarang. He still has full HP. There's low health bars for the entire team. And this is a Tristana absolute dream. He's going to be jumping in. And I think that Sin, I think this is the game.
Yeah, it finishes game 1, 10-1-10. Finishes game 2, 10-0-6. Amazing performance from him. Definitely my MVP of the day. But in the end, it is going to be just 4D chess, playing 4D chess on the Rift, like you said.
Yep, 100% getting those 5-head plays in here. Yeah, as you say, Bangarang is our MVP for this series. The man just showing that he knows exactly how to play these fights on the Tristana. And I want to give a little bit of a shout out as well to Bongo Tap, who played, I think, very well in both of these games as well.
Definitely so. Like, did really well to set up the 80 carry damage. Did really well to carry that performance through. And that is going to be a 2-0. Nice, clean win there for 4D Chess.
Yep, clean win for 4D Chess. Unfortunately for the Ticklers, they do fall. And we saw a little bit of glimmers of it for them, but it seems like they were just not quite on the same page on some of these fights. Their team comp required them to all go in at the same time, and unfortunately, it just seems to be 4D outclassing them at every turn in this series. So we're going to end things out there. Sin, any last words before we end the broadcast?
There's definitely some potential shown from the side of Sneaky Ticklers, but they got a lot of execution to clean up on. It comes in that CC layering, in the coordination as a whole. And that can take time, but it can still come together.
Yep, definitely agree. So we'll have to watch this team going forward. But congratulations to 4D Chess, grabbing themselves their first win of the year here in Rampage Week 1. Thank you all for joining us. This is Lindor signing off with Sin. We will see you next time.
Good night.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun.